Hey, welcome back. And in this video, I want to pick Andrew and David's brains and talk about buy and build advisors and really why you should hire buy and build advisors. What would have to be true? What scenarios? So let's start with you, Andrew. The idea of someone who's coming in who's looking to acquire a business or many other reasons, and they're looking for help. Why would someone hire buy and build advisors?
So why you hire buy and build advisors is to actually do the transition the right way. So there's many facets as you're buying a business that a lot of people are not aware of. So there's the financial, there's the legal, there's the operational due diligence that you've got to understand as you're buying this business. There's a lot of things that business owners don't understand. Where are all of the skeletons? Our job is to find the skeletons, roll over the rocks to understand what are you buying, you're actually buying, so that there's no surprises later on. So that's the main function of due diligence, making sure you get that done the right way. And then the second part of buy and build advisors is the transition work. So we're doing financial and operational transition. So when you buy the business, now how do you now start to run the business the right way? So as we're looking at businesses and businesses buying, we're always starting with the end in mind, right? So as you buy a business, there has to be an end in mind. What are you going to do and sell that business at a later date? Is it one business, a roll-up, et cetera, et cetera? So the way that we set up our transitional services is to make sure that you, first of all, don't sink the ship, right, as soon as you buy it. And we're doing the right things in a methodical way that you're actually getting the value that you want out of that business and you're set up for success going out.
And I think going to you, David, the concept of the entire transaction has so many steps. There's so many different milestones in a successful business acquisition. Where does buy and build advisors step in, and what exactly are you able to take off the business buyer's plate?
Yeah, so the ideal point for us to step in is right at the point of either being ready to finalize or having just finalized the letter of intent.
Okay.
At that point, the structure of the deal is more or less set in place. The relationship, the foundation is already built between the seller and the buyer. We can then step in, and our job really, if you look at a business purchase transaction, a large piece of that is really just a big project management puzzle. You've got to look at all the due diligence pieces. You've got to coordinate financing and funding. You've got to coordinate maybe setting up new legal entities. You've got to coordinate all of the due diligence investigation. And so a lot of our job is being kind of the air traffic controller that's really guiding all of the different planes through the air, making sure they don't crash into one another, and that all of them land at more or less the same time or at the scheduled time of arrival through the course of the process. So we're doing all of that. We've actually invested heavily in a new top-of-the-line software package. It's the same software that Fortune 100 companies use to manage their M&A activities. And we have that up and running, and we're actively using that now so that we, again, have that state-of-the-art tool to be the air traffic controller for the whole process. And we can take a lot of that project management responsibility and keeping track of who's on first, what's on second for the business buyer and for the seller.
So really, in essence, it's almost like a one-stop deal team that's
Exactly.
going to be able to take over right after the LOI is finalized and take it all the way through fruition, but also beyond. Because the transition, someone who's acquired quite a few businesses, and I've handled the transition myself on a couple, there's a lot of things to do. I mean, across all the different things, operations, sales and marketing, finance. And I want to go over all that more in depth in different videos from this. But just overall, I think it's helpful for someone watching the videos to say, when is it appropriate? And then what am I actually getting? So I think we really covered that well in this video. Any closing remarks?
There's one thing I do want to add that Andrew kind of touched on but then glossed over, and I think it's actually one of the most important things we do. And that is we work with the seller and the buyer to understand the team in the business. You're familiar, Chris, because we've talked about it with the why and the DISC profiles that we do on both the seller, the buyers, and the key team members, so that we understand how to communicate to those folks and what is really going to motivate them. And then we build a bespoke, customized transition communication strategy so that we are communicating to these all of the team members. Because what happens when the seller walks in the door and says, hey, guess what? I've sold the business. This is Andrew. He's your new owner. the next phrase, no matter what anyone says, the next thing that gets processed in all of the team's members are, everything is changing. I'm probably going to lose my job. Doesn't matter what words get spoken, that's what the mind is processing. So we are very careful to build that communication strategy and build, just like you do a lot of times with marketing, you got to repeat that message multiple times and in multiple different ways for it to be heard. We build a communication campaign around the transition so that the entire senior management team has talking points, they can answer questions, and we can make sure that everyone is as comfortable as possible through the transition process and that it's not disruptive to their lives and to their ability to perform in the business.
And we do that not just for the team members that you're hiring, but also for your customers, your vendors, anybody that's going to interact with that organization in the future, and making sure they're aware of what they're going to be doing. Because again, we don't want the wrong message to go out and vendors stop giving you the product you need, or customers leaving you, right? So we want to make sure we're really, really careful on that type of communication. So that, not only are you keeping your customers, but you can now start building. Because I can tell you right now, a lot of vendors and customers are out there are always wondering, what happens if this company goes away? So now you're putting more life back into that business and those relationships with vendors and customers.
Beautiful. Well, there you have it. We'll see you in the next video.